Hi, I'm Tony Fleming, and this is Fleming's Ultimate Garage. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on today's video. Talk about iconic shapes. When you think about cars that have shaped style and history, and some of the cars that have gone on top of that, you think about things like the 300 SL Coupe. For instance, those cars right now are significantly more expensive than they were back when they were original. Those cars have really taken off, very much like a Shelby Cobra has taken off. Is this one of those kinds of cars that could potentially be that next place that you go where this is, oh, I can't believe I didn't buy it when I saw it, and then they become $1 million cars and you miss out on that whole ride? Don't know that answer, but I will say this. This has had a great history as a blue chip investment. It's continued to go up in and year out. Not to mention the fact you can get in and drive it. You're like, wow, yeah, I forgot all about that. First off, I'm thinking collector car, investment, what have you. Yeah, you can do all that, but this one here not only drives well, but drives better than almost any other one that I've ever seen because it has a couple performance upgrades. The great thing about the performance upgrade is this is what they did back in the day. They added the supercharger onto this, and if you don't want that on there, we'll just take it off and return it right back to bone stock. So some people like things bone stock. Some people like the idea of having these cars you know, with a little bit more power because they don't have a huge engine. So, you know, if you want to go 150, 180, maybe 250 miles an hour, and you need special gel for your hair to keep that all in place, then you might want to think about that. All right, anyway, so let's talk about this. So this car here, this has been restored. It has low mileage for its time. And as we walk around, you're going to see the detail of this car is really great. You're looking at the video and wow, that's really a great looking car. But a lot of times people say, well, that's a great looking car, but they don't know why it's a great looking car. For instance, let's look at some of this style. For instance, the fender bulges that are here, the way the bumpers wrap around, the color keyed wheels, all right? This has a couple small things on it that wouldn't have come from the factory back then, which is radial tires. The radial tires, we can convert those to polyglass tires or original style tire if you want to, but the radial tire is one of the best advances of any car ever that's happened to the world. So the polished and stainless, snap-on boot that looks really nice, and this is cloth too, color matched interior in there, right? Color matched hubcaps, and we'll just keep walking around for a second and looking at just great styling features. Imagine this car. This car is in the showroom right now amongst other supermodels, so it does look fantastic, but you can imagine out on the road it looks even better. So having said that, let's look under the hood because that right there is a big difference. All right, so let's take a peek under here. Put the prop rod in place. All right, so check out the detail in here. Now listen, we're just finishing the restoration on this. So we have the correct decals coming from under the hood, all right? We have the correct marking. This is a Mercedes battery. But we have a nice Mercedes decal coming on top of here. Everything in here is nice. Check out the supercharger here. It's the Judson Supercharger. It's built just for these cars, right? And people love them back in the day because the 190 SL doesn't have a lot of power from the factory. This right here changed all of that, all right? This has great brakes on it and fast steering and some of the detailed stuff like this. Under here, all your decals and stickers are all in place for authenticity, so you can really see what you're getting and see how this car originally rolled off the showroom floor just like this. All right, so in here, nicely detailed in case you want to go to a show. It's got the right carpet with the binding all around it. It's got a spare tire. The jack is detailed. All the good little detail stuff is in there. You may or may not want to show this car, but if you decide to show this car, it's really ready to go and it looks great. The one piece you can't see under this car, actually, let me say it again. The one piece you can't see is the underneath of this car, and that's the part you need to see because when it's restored underneath, that's how you get the great drive out of a car. On top of a car can be all nice and shiny, but if it's all put together incorrectly down below, it's rusty or it's got mud and plastic all in it, this is not one of those type of cars. This car is beautifully restored underneath, and that's why it drives so well. All right, so this is this place where you're going to spend most of your time. And the great thing about it is for guys or gals that are tall, I'm 6'1", I got plenty of room in here, right? And the interior is fabulous. It is fabulous in here. The style is great. You got this vacuum gauge here for the supercharger, which is really cool. It looks so original in stock. Got the correct Becker Europa radio in here, right? The steering wheel, this is the turn signals. A lot of people don't know that. And I labeled everything for you here, the choke, the vents for the climate control, turn signals, stuff like that, all right? We also have here the new rear view mirror, so that'll go right there. We'll install that at the same time. And then we have a nice folder of documentation all the way back to the history of the car, original owner's manual. This is all original stuff, man, from 1956, which is cool. This is amazing. Plus, we have a lot of service and history receipts, and plus there's a lot of restoration receipts that we spent on the car that'll come with it as well. But you got your 4-speed here. Everything fits just so perfect. Like your arm sits on here, you hook your finger here, and you go for a drive. And this is a fabulous, fabulous car to take out on the road, and add the supercharger in there too. And you've changed the game when you talk about this, because they do have great power, right? But not wow power. The 300 SL had great power because it was a much larger engine and more cylinders and all of the good stuff that would normally come with it. Here you get to have that same power of the 300 SL, but you don't have to spend 300 SL money. So we close up this iconic classic. We're talking about 1956. It's 2018 when we're doing this video today. This is a really, really incredibly old car. 62 years old, and I don't know how to explain it to you. The style today, many cars don't weather the styling storm. This car has continued to weather the styling storm, influenced so many of other cars out there, and not to mention it's a beautiful restoration with the upgraded supercharger on it. It is a fabulous drive. Anyway, call us 301-816-1000. We'll find a way to get it in your garage. All right, how about we start it for you so you can get a little sound of this? All these gauges, but vacuum gauge for the supercharger, oil, water, all that stuff working like a champ.